This video is my entrance assignment for All You Can Art Summer School 2020. I start off by selecting some pictures of my face that aren't terrible, and import them into GIMP. Yes, GIMP, because I don't have Photoshop. Basically, I play around a bit and try to increase the contrast and define lighter and darker areas, without having too many levels in between. Then I magically conjure these photos onto a blank piece of paper, but making sure to do so at a low opacity so I can actually see what I'm drawing onto it. Now I draw squiggly lines between the light areas and the less light areas, I guess, separating these two to form coastlines. So the light areas will become the seas and the darker areas will become my continents. I then trace these lines onto a blank sheet of paper using my lightbox. Alternatively, you could also trace it on the window, but I had this really cheap lightbox lying around and haven't tried it yet, so yeah, it gets the job done. Just looks very annoying on camera. I then determine which areas should be the darkest. These areas will have the dense forests and mountain ranges, that kind of stuff. And I just start doodling these in. I did this on both pictures because I hadn't decided which one would make for the most interesting composition for this artwork. And I have to say it took me a long time to actually choose one. To decide which one I would use for the final artwork, I made some thumbnails in my sketchbook and also tried out some different color combinations. Choosing the color combination wasn't really that hard because I wanted to look quite old-timey. So I'm going for coppery hues, which not so coincidentally matches my hair. But I still wanted the eyes to be blue, and I got a nice little trick for that, and that works best with the left composition. So I rinse and repeat the whole process I did before, but this time on watercolor paper. So I can keep layering washes of the same color over and over again to build up the color and make a monochromatic map. But I make sure to avoid the eyes and the tiny little clouds that I drew on it, because those need to be a very saturated blue. Now you might ask, why are you making a map of your face? Well, the assignment is to make a mental self-portrait. And this is not just because I love fantasy and I like to draw maps. But by this approach, I can put in different aspects of my personality that are very diverse. So you could say it's a mind map. But in all realness, I scattered all these pictograms all over the map that embody personality traits. Most of these are animals. So there's an otter for curiosity, a salmon for determination, a turtle for creativity, a fox for intelligence, a moose for being headstrong, a wolf-ball for freedom, and a dolphin for kindness. But I also included a burning tower, which in tarot represents sudden change, like my moods can be sometimes. And I included a tiger-like animal, which was the monster under my bed when I was little, which represents my anxiety and my nightmares. But of course there's also a unicorn to protect me from that. The names of the settlements are also inspired by these same aspects, but translated into Elfish, with some creative liberties taken. And the name of this land or continent or whatever, Samandor, translates to Land of the Mind. I wanted to just translate mind map into Elfish, but turns out that's the same word for dream, which doesn't really capture what I was going for. With the map itself completed, I can now add the blue details, which nicely contrast with the coppery hue that I used before. And then we get to the trick that I mentioned before. To tie in these blue details a bit more into the composition, I add on a dragon on the top corner and some flowers on the bottom. I actually did plan this all along, and they are in my thumbnail sketches. I added them because it just adds more interest to the piece. But before I started with the map, I got the idea to make the dragon separate from the map so that he would actually be watching over it instead of being on the same piece of paper. And thus I did the same thing for the flowers as well, so it really comes out. And as a nice little bonus, these flowers look like Delft blue. I shortly debated to skip the flowers, but this was the reason I definitely wanted to keep them in. And there we have it, my self-portrait. Does this count as a face reveal? Anyway, please leave a like and subscribe and let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, bye!